Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well. Listen, I thought this might be some news that you can use, and we're going to talk about the data centers. Yes, oh my gosh. First, I thought, wow, it's going to bring in a lot of jobs, but yeah, at what cost? Especially at what cost to consumers? Here, this article says it's only getting worse. Blackouts and higher electric bills to come as AI centers strain the grid, says CEO of Exelon, a top U.S. utility company. And yes, the effect is truly being felt. So, quick read here. Protests, article says, protests aren't going to stop electricity price rising, warns Calvin Butler, CEO of Exelon, one of the biggest utility companies in the United States. Butler spoke to the Financial Times about the pushback against AI data centers. He said utilities have become a scapegoat for frustrated politicians and citizens as data centers drive up electricity costs for everyone. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro accused Exelon's subsidiary, Petco, of pure greed in its proposal to raise electric and gas bills by an average of $35 a month in 2027. The price of electricity is already up 13% in the state. Not good news, people. So, Petco backed down, but Butler said it would only push the pain down the road. In the meantime, he warns there's a growing danger of blackouts. That's what I wanted to get to. Quote, we came very close this past winter to having to curtail power for about 400,000 customers on some of the coldest days of the year, end quote, he told the Financial Times. And it's only getting worse. But Mark Wolf, executive director of the National Energy Assistance Directors Association, doesn't accept that consumers should be on the hook for the cost of AI or the risk of the blackouts. And that I agree. Who's going to be on the hook? The consumers are. In the meantime, Zuckerberg, yes, I just Googled it, which I think we all knew. Zuckerberg owns vast data centers throughout his company, Meta. Meta designs, builds, and operates a global network of massive hyperscale facilities to power its social media platforms and artificial intelligence models. So if you look at it, AI is not only taking the jobs, it's also taking money out of our pockets. Here it says he has a Hyperion campus. So they're building this is like a Meta AI data center in Richland Parish. It says once complete, this multi-gigawatt facility is planned to scale up to 5 gigawatts of compute capacity with a total investment exceeding US $50 billion. But here's the issue that I have with that. The issue I have with that is this high cost of electricity, blackouts. If the blackouts occur, stop and think. The price is not going to go down. It's still going to go up. So basically, you're looking at people paying more money for a blackout because you got to have these data centers. They're causing the electricity to go up, using so much more of the water. Have you heard about San Antonio? So this is when AI becomes our enemy. This is when data center becomes our enemy. Can you imagine blackouts in the coldest of winter? So it's like we're all people are having to sacrifice for the data centers, and then it's taking money out of your pocket. So what's the sacrifice for? The rich ones at the top. And the fact that the politicians are not, from what I can see, they're not trying to find or fund any type of correction to combat this. It lets you know a whole lot. They don't care about, I've been saying they don't care about us. Paying more money, but getting less services? The dangers of AI. Are there some good aspects? You got it. Fast research, you name it. But at what point do we reel it in? Because if you look at it, it's like we're funding our own doom when it comes to the data centers. You cannot elect out and say, oh, you know what? I live in this area near a data center, so I don't want to pay. It doesn't work that way. This isn't elective. So paying more for electricity out of your pocket. And do you think it's going to end? No, more than likely it'll slowly creep up. It's like years ago, before there was a time I remember when you could have like an online shop and they were not paying taxes on it. Because I had an online store. Next thing you know, it was like a politician, again, while someone's playing and chilling, someone's always planning. So a politician came up with the idea that, hey, we need to tax those businesses, put a tax on them. And then you got the little, email saying, hey, they're going to start collecting taxes on the items, things like that. When they find a way to make money, it never stops. It goes back to say, okay, let's ring it in. No, it's going to continue. So the data centers, can you imagine paying more money for electricity and then you're facing blackouts, facing discomfort? But what are you getting for the increase? How the rich get richer. What are you getting for the increase? And people say, oh, those buildings, when they're building those, look at in the tax law section 179. And when they're putting these new constructions up, it's an expense, more than likely a tax write-off. And I'm not an accountant, but it's common sense to me. It's a write-off. So what are we paying for? What are Americans suffering for? More money out of your pocket. And it's not going to be temporary. Matter of fact, just with the regular electricity costs, there are so many businesses that have gone under. In some states, they were getting a subsidy. I know Mississippi was one, and I think Alabama. No, Georgia. Some states were getting subsidies for electricity. And they're like, hey, my bill's normally $100 or $200 a month. And now it's like, yeah, $300 and $400 a month. Yeah, because during the Trump administration, that electric bill subsidy was cut out. Guess what? Some businesses, they couldn't afford electricity, so they went under. Small businesses went under. Couldn't afford electricity. What is being done? What are the politicians doing? The powers that be, what is being done for the American people? Can barely survive as it is. People lose their jobs and they just totally lose it. Why? Because they already know, oh my gosh, it was already tough to begin with. Now you lost the job. Uh-oh, what's the problem? They know it's going to be a problem finding the next one. Already struggling check to check or just barely making it. That's why they freak out. So this right here, what is being done to combat this? Any solutions? Where's the think tanks? What are the politicians, the powers that be? What are they doing? I would say nothing. Why? The rich get richer and they really don't care. So yeah, the data centers can also affect employment. How? The larger utility bills. Not just for someone's home, but for small businesses. So you at that in a data center nearby, and then you add for some that were getting a subsidy for electricity. It shows you the signs of the time. The country is falling apart and it's gradually falling apart. As I said before, said again, it's part of the civilized silent purge. If you're new to the channel, thanks for being here. But yeah, the ones who are not new, I've been saying it. A civilized silent purge. All the job elimination, no job creation. Can't want to work, can't find the job. Foreclosures and evictions. People borrowing money, charging up food. Why? They can't afford to buy the food. The money's not there. Everything is up except the income. Again, all the job elimination, no job creations. And then once you're able to hold on a little bit of something, data center got to pop up. More money out of our pockets because of a data center. And what are we getting in return? It's like a robbery to me. What do you get in return? Could be a blackout. Okay, you paid more money, but you're going to sit there in the dark. What if it's freezing cold? Someone could pass away. But hey, at least Zuckerberg has a data center. What's more important, the data center or human life? So yeah, this, in my opinion, is part of the civilized silent purge moves like this that are happening every day. And it's not when we're up and yelling and people are fighting and punching. No, a civilized silent purge where your ability just to create a basic existence of having a place to live, afford an apartment, a house, afford food and utilities, even that is not attainable. Civilized silent purge. And I think the data centers are doing their part. So, thanks for listening to the video. Let me know what you think, and I'm out.